JAH-ACE. Brooklyn. Freaking out great. JAH-ACE. We need a little bit of emphasis. No boy don't chat tough when the key knock. Listen when I hear that. With a double action, a rap pump action. Shot we drive through face like a me back. So don't chat tough when the key knock. Listen when I hear that. With a double action, a rap pump action. Shot we drive through face like a me back. We ever depend the paper chase, but no in a haste. Warriors with no fit face. I know everywhere me I go show me face. But please, don't make me have to show me brave. Money me a praise, so me a behave. So no make me have to beat it like one of these slave. Right now me feeling high, man. Thou shall not fuck with I, man. Boy don't chat tough when the key knock. Listen when I hear that. With a double action, a rap pump action. Shot we drive through face like a me back. So don't chat tough when the key knock. Listen when I hear that. With a double action, a rap pump action. Shot we drive through face like a me back. Me a the realist when them hear about. Brain fly like airport. Bird a bring storm, get a raincoat. Bullets a fly like birds when they stay cold. Bird a breeze cock, no deep throat. I just me a fi reload. Clip long like the road. Shoot you a speed being land out a seafood.
The views and opinions expressed by guests on this platform do not reflect the views and opinions of JAH-ACE TV. JAH-ACE TV isn't here to glorify violence, get anyone in trouble, or start anything negative. It's all entertainment and enlightenment content. Enjoy, and thanks for watching.
You're looking at Pistol Pete from TS and KAR, the self-proclaimed king of Rikers Island. That's what he said, man. I ain't said, he said it. But we gonna get into that, though. We gonna hear it from his mouth. Slow.
You got a moniker, man, that I really wanted to talk to you about, man, is the king of Rikers, man. Can you tell me about that, man? Because I heard you was putting in some, in there, you know, I don't know if we could talk about it or not, but I heard that you was very well known for getting down for your crown.
What can I tell you, man? At an early age and shit like that, man, I was on Rikers Island, I was one of the first predicators on Rikers Island. I cut a lot of people. I've been through a lot of shit on the island. They call me king of Rikers Island and all that. They done write all kind of poets and all kind of shit and add my name to the shit and all that. But, that's all. Whatever I did in the island and all that, I never thought it'll drag on this far. It'll take me this long. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll bring me so much history.
5-star general.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But this, it was all, at that point, I was just young and regulating, So I regulated crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I'd ever seen nobody regulate the way I used to regulate when I was on the island and all that. You know what I'm saying? So I was pretty strong. You know what I'm saying? Whether they COs, you know what I'm saying? Forget about the inmates and the people, the convicts that's with me and all that. We good.
Well, a lot of that.
So you heard it live and direct. You heard it right out of Pistol Pete's mouth that he's the king of Rikers Island. He was the one down there getting busy on the island. Later for what building it was, you know what I mean? Because for those that don't know, Rikers Island got different buildings in the, on the whole island. There's different buildings, whatever the case may be. But he's saying he was the king of the whole entire Rikers Island. And that came out of his mouth. I know there's a bunch of people, include myself, that will refute that. Come on, bro. You only one man. There's no way you ran the whole island, bro. But that's what he want the people that don't know no better to believe. But we gonna get into more stuff that Pistol Pete talking about, though.
It's been black people, man. Like, I was raised in the building. This is my homie right here. He's black. I was raised with him. You know what I'm saying? We've been raised as little kids in this building. You know what I'm saying? Selling drugs in this building, doing everything in this building. But there's been time in jail where I had to bring the Puerto Rican flag. I had dues, my dues, get the crazy markers and all that, and take the sheet and make a Puerto Rican flag out of it, and put the Puerto Rican flag in the middle of the yard. Boom! And stab everything that's black. You know what I'm saying? The whole And in the hole, it's called SHU, Special Housing Unit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like this. You see these apartments right here? It's just like this. These are all apartments, so it's a whole bunch of them like this. You know what I'm saying? And I was right here, and around me, you know what the police did on the Crackers Day? They put, everybody was around me was black. Everybody around me was the nigga next door was the one I stabbed up 2 days ago. And the one next door over here was the one I banged this man up. And the other man over there was the one I banged up that week before. You know, it's all same drama. I'm the only Spanish nigga. There's only one Spanish nigga that's on that.
Salute and love. You already know who it is. JAH-ACE from JAH-ACE TV. Yeah, man, I came across a video that the brother Wild Bill put out, man. Salute to Wild Bill. You know, we was somewhere together. I think we was in a cat together, or if I'm not mistaken, me and him was in one man band together. He was on the other side though. I was on one side, he was on the other side. Me, Reese, and us was on the north side of one man bang, and I think Wild Bill was on the other side. Me, Reese, Light, Slave, and all of us was on the other side. But yeah, I came across a video where I seen Wild Bill going at Pistol Pete, because Pistol Pete said, you know, years ago in the cat, there was some shit going on with the blacks and Hispanics, and he basically told the blacks, yo, don't lock out. You know what I mean? He told them dudes stay in their cell because him and his people was going to go out to the yard and they're gunning down everything black. I find that hard to believe that that situation took place and nobody black stepped up and did what they had to do. You know, he making it seem like blacks was soft or something, like they knew not to step up, and him and his peoples, they did what they had to do and nobody did nothing. You know, so that's impossible, you know what I'm saying? Because like Wild Bill said in the video, for those, you know, and for those that are not subscribed to Wild Bill channel, go watch the video on Wild Bill channel. You'll see what he was talking about. When Wild Bill bought up the CO's big Hobart, 6'6", 6'7", 360-pound white boy that was damaging dudes, you know what I'm saying? And the Chase brothers and Kawasaki, the COs, they would have murdered Pistol Pete if what he's saying is true. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's fabricating the story or adding on to the story, but the way he's saying it, it couldn't have happened like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the cat, aka Kawasaki, you know, was a spot that was crazy wild. I was in that spot. You know what I'm saying? And as I stated before, not one day went by that I ain't see blood. Somebody got cut or stabbed or whatever case may be. Something happened. And even police was getting clapped when I was there. So if dudes was clapping police, what you think would have happened to Pistol Pete and his people? Come on, man. If you're going to speak facts, you know what I'm saying? Speak facts. And if this is about views and all that, come on, man. You got to put the truth on the table, you know what I mean? Because the viewers is out here, they watching and they believe in this nonsense, man. I'm going to get into some of the things Wild Bill was saying, and I'm going to talk about some of and then we're going to look at Pistol Pete and what he was saying and some of the contradictions, man. But when you look at the overall picture, it's people with the mindset of a Pistol Pete on why the moves came. You know what I mean? Because there is some Spanish brothers that was racist and all that, you know what I'm saying? And Pistol Pete show you the mentality of some Spanish brothers. You know what I mean? So what he did was confirm why a lot, not just the Bloods, but a lot of other black movements, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the black movements started because of people like Pistol Pete's mentality. You know what I'm saying? The Nubian brothers, and you know, a lot of things happen, man, because of people like Pistol Pete, man. And that racism, man. Salute. Let's get into this, man.
got knocked out?
That's one of the riots. I've been in 2 riots. I was in Southport riot. I've been in Kasaki riot. I closed Kasaki down.
What does that mean?
Meaning that I shut the jail down. It was a riot where it was a riot that it's funny because to this day a lot of brothers look at me and they be like, but it's true. Like, in jail you can have. I'm raised with a bunch of brothers, a bunch of black brothers, right? I have Spanish friends, but I'm around black people mostly all the time.
Okay.
So, and
that's how Boy George was.
And the only Spanish guys that I'm around with is TS guys.
Yeah, right.
I swear, because everybody black. So, and we got TS black guys too, though. But my point to you is that that it's just the whole
Kasaki.
Kasaki was like blacks against the Spanish. And it wasn't even like that. It just in jail it becomes that.
Yeah.
People in jail, for some reason, it just becomes blacks and the Spanish, blacks against the Muslim against the Spanish, or the Muslims against the guard bodies, the Muslim against the Bloods, like that. So there was just one of the occasions where it was like a guy came from another jail. He had stabbed somebody else that I knew. And I just got to know this guy, but he's from the Bronx, straight up guy, cool guy, amazing stand-up guy. And he tells me, yo, these guys over there was part of the that they did to me in another jail. They tried to cut me and this, that. And I was like, well, you want to feel like you got something you want to get off your chest? He said, yeah, I want to cut that back. And I was like, all right, so you cut him. So he went back, boom, he cut the guy. And the guy was just not a regular guy in jail either. He was like one of the main guys, strong. And they was all from Brooklyn, and they turned it into a Brooklyn. They turned it into a black thing.
Right.
And it wasn't even like that, and it was, so this is real exclusive, bro. I went and I told everybody that was in my unit, everybody that was black that I know, like my, guard bodies that I know. Okay, Sean, yo, lock in, stay in your cell. Yo, Muhammad, stay in your cell. Why you telling me to stay in my cell, pistol? Stay in your cell. Say, all right, boom. So I told all my black friends, stay in the cell. We went out to the yard, boom. The guys ran down on the guy that cut the other black kid. They all ran down on him, almost killed him, an inch away from his heart, took him to the hospital. Now the whole jail was closed. Now they opened the jail again. And I go back out there and I say, okay, on this date, this is what we're going to do. This day, we're going to go out there, we're going to put the Puerto Rican flag in the middle of the flag, and we're going to stab everybody that's black. And I did that. I went out there and we did that. We put the flag and I stabbed everybody. And the guy that was the main guy that was getting away, he was handcuffed, shackled. They was escorting him out. And I ran down, chased the police down, backed them down, and cut them out in front of the police. Wow. And they took me to the cells, they took me to the showers, and
put the beats on you.
And smacked me so hard because I had to raise my mouth. I got away with it. And the police was looking at me from the tower. And he turned me around. I'm like, and I was like, yeah, it's time to spit it. And I was like, there in the fuck, he started his mouth. He got in his mouth. And and they took me to the thing and they were like, take it out your mouth, smacking me. And for the first time in my life, I almost swallowed the. Now I thought about swallowing the
on the joint.
So you heard Pistol Pete say that he told Muslims that he knew and guard bodies that he knew to stay in his cell because he was about to go out to the yard and step to his business, and he was cutting and stabbing everybody that's black, and he didn't want them getting involved or whatever the case may be. So he basically saying that the dudes that he told that to were soft. And he's saying that he went out there and he also planted a flag. And as you'll hear later on, he didn't do that in the Kasaki. Because Kasaki, the center yard, is blacktop. So how was it that you planted a flag in the middle of the yard and then you went and you started stabbing shit up? Like, I just want somebody to just, co-sign this story, because if it happened before I got there, whatever, I still would have heard about it, because the way he's explaining it, it would have been a monumental moment that happened in the state. And stuff like that, people talk about that for years. So if somebody was there, and and they could co-sign that happened, and he was out there stabbing up all the blacks, and no blacks that was in that yard that day did nothing, let me hear about that, bro. Because I know for a fact if that happened and he went up and blew and cut somebody in the face that was going in the yard, leaving out the yard, and Hobart and them was out there, they would have murdered Pistol Pete out there, bro. They would have took him and they would have killed Pistol Pete, because they were known for murdering people in Coxsackie, bro. And if you ain't never been to Coxsackie box, it's a long hallway, and nobody can hear you screaming down that in Coxsackie box. Come on, man. So for those that's not subscribed to JAH-ACE TV, go subscribe to JAH-ACE TV. Go look at all my content. You know, I talk about a variety of different things, you know, and I'm sure you'll be, you know, pleased with the content. Share, you know, the content, and don't be afraid to comment and like, man. Let's get into Wild Bill, man. Wild Bill, he had a lot to say about this topic, and he ain't like what was said. We gonna get into Wild Bill and see what Wild Bill had to say about what Pistol Pete was talking about.
Nothing in no goddamn ground in Coxsackie Yard. That's one. Two, you can't even have no Puerto Rican flags because the color's blue in it, and there ain't no blue allowed in the flag. I mean, allowed in the jail. Okay. So you're not having that. That's not happening. You know what I'm saying? So that's cap right there. You know. Now I don't know Pistol Pete personally. Mm-hmm. You know, I know who he is. You know, and I'm not saying he's not a get busy dude. He don't bust his gun and none of that. But what I'm saying is, what he's talking about, what he did in Coxsackie, that's like impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible.
But the whole story sounds suspect. Like, he said how he told all his black friends to stay in. He told them to stay in because he knew he was about to go out there. He said he had a friend who had cut somebody and they was on him. So because they was on his friend and they almost killed his friend, he told all his black friends to stay in while he go ahead and cut every other black person on the yard. It just didn't sound right.
First of all,
like, if you do that, first of all, and then he said he cut somebody right in front of the police. So is that possible, Bill?
Nah, this is not going down. Let me tell you, first of all, Coxsackie, let me tell you the history of Coxsackie. I don't know what year he said this shit went down in, but I know for sure the year I was in Coxsackie. You know, I was in Brooklyn, always been deep in Coxsackie. You know, you got Bronx, you know, they deep, they hold weight. Brooklyn always had numbers for some reason, you know, because it's a bigger borough. Yeah. But now for him to say he cut somebody in front of the police, first of all, when I was in there, the Chase brothers that had that random center, y'all, whole barn, all of them, the officers that's in front of the unit, they could open the doors and look, because you got doors all around that you could go in and go in different sections in the center yard to go inside the housing units. Because like I said, it's a courtyard, they got doors all around. So you can open up these doors over here to take you to A and B. You open up these doors over here to take you to B and C. Like I said, it's a courtyard with multiple doors. You're not going in there stabbing up everybody. Now, he might have cut somebody. It might have went down, he cut somebody, got into a scuffle, cut one or two dudes. But you're not doing it. You're not running around stabbing all the blacks or stabbing all of anything in that yard. Yeah. And first of all, most of the people in there, in Coxsackie, that's an adolescent penitentiary. And you know how the adolescents get down. They was wilding from Rikers Island coming up. So you got all the hotheads that's in Coxsackie. So most of the dudes in the jail put work in already. You know, whether it was in the street, whether it was on the island, whether it was up north, because that's like somewhat a disciplinary jail at the same time. So it ain't too many sucker niggas in Coxsackie. So for dudes, for you to tell anybody, oh, I'm gonna cut all the blacks, niggas gonna look at you blacks like, who cutting who?
Right.
Cutting what? My cousin's out there. Well, I got my dude from my block. You cut the wrong dude. They would have killed him in that yard.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And him just telling everybody, nah, stay in your cell when they open up your cell for rep.
Nah, the way that's set up, like dudes ain't locking in their cell.
Yeah,
they waiting to go outside. Exactly. They need their rep. Dudes was in program all day, more the afternoon. So you telling me to stay in? I can't go to rec. And rec ain't every day at night. You got inside rec one night, and then the next night you got outside rec,
and then it's
Ain't
vice
giving
versa.
up they rep just so you could, just because you said you ain't even tell them why. It'd be maybe one thing if you told them, yo, don't worry about it, I'm gonna hold you down, whatever the case may be. I don't want you to get into nothing. I don't want you to get shot, nothing like that. But for you to just say, yo, everybody lock in. I gotta handle something on the yard. That sounds a little far-fetched. I'm sorry.
I don't give a fuck how much you kill. You got a whole lot of killers that been in there. You got a whole lot of killers that went through Kasaki. You know? I was in Kasaki when a dude cut 2 police. He got tired. He was a dope dude. He got tired of the police oppressing him, and he popped on police. The mentality in Kasaki, 90% of people in Kasaki is on go time. You know? Even, I'm gonna put up, look at Little Red Cafe. I can't say Little Red Cafe. The cafe was in there with me. He put in work. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of dudes in there that is on go time.
Yo, what up with my boy Red Cafe, man?
I don't know too much, but we was on the island. Me and Red Cafe was on the island. He was in March 2. I was running around the building. You know, he's what they called it was Twilight Zone. They had a crew called Twilight Zone, mainly Brooklyn dudes. But Red Cafe official, but this is not about Red Cafe. This is going back to Pistol Pete. And the things he said he did. Now, I put in major work. Me and my brother cut about 15 dudes in the CMC predicate house back on the island. And everybody's mad witnesses, and a lot of motherfuckers knew that me and my brother put in that work. Now, him saying that he did whatever, he ain't giving up. He said he stabbed everybody in the yard. That would have made history. Everybody been talking about it. I've been in the state for years. I know a whole bunch of people in the state that's still going in and out the state. They would have told me some shit about that. It would have been publicized. Yo, Pistol Pete put that work in. He put that pain in. He stabbed 20 people in the yard, 30 people in the yard. Wasn't jerking no wreck. The inmates wasn't jerking no wreck. And the tension was always high in Kasaki. And Kasaki is a predominant black jail because all the bullshit that they doing across the street in Green, running all the blacks out. So whenever a Spanish dude come in there, they ready to get at him. They don't care if you mess with blacks or not. You Spanish. You a German. Right. They don't give a fuck about that. You a German and you condone all that shit that was happening across the street. So now it's get back time. So they not letting the Spanish dude come up in there. If you official dude, they might let you rock for a little while, but you ain't got no say in it. They not letting you have no sound of power where you can tell niggas you can't come out. The pussiest nigga, I'm like, well, you a German? Fuck you mean I can't come out?
Word up.
Yeah, you call shots over there across the street and Green some motherfucker with you ain't got no say up in this motherfucker. Not in the cat. Not in the cat, talking about it's a racial thing. Racial, they don't got no say. Spanish dudes never had no say in Kasaki. They ran Green. They had all the say in the world. Did blacks dirty over there? You coming to Max? Your niggas is motherfucking quiet. It's right next to Albany.
Oh, all right.
Kasaki, New York, upstate New York.
Yeah.
Kasaki, the half the blacks in that got ran out of Green, that's in fucking cat now. They waiting for a Spanish nigga to come up in there so they can get their wreck. They waiting for the few Spanish dudes that been in that got a little strength or whatever they ain't pussy that niggas letting live. They waiting for them niggas to get out of pocket so they can pop off on them.
That's a fact.
So
this ain't nothing against Spanish because we got family that's Spanish.
You heard it here live and direct, man. Dudes is not jacking what Pistol Pete was saying, man. And you talking about people that was in the cat at one point in time. And as he said, you know, the cat was wild. There was always something going on. You know what I mean? Dudes is popping. Dudes is always on go time. You know what I'm saying? It was always shit going down. You know, police was getting it. Police was giving it out. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that he would have been able to get away with that in the cat. You know what I'm saying? Because the tension was too high. You know what I mean? Across the street was another facility, Green, and all the and all the Spanish dudes. They had Green in the smash at one point in time. Anybody tell you different, they lying. So when they came over to Kasaki, they got dealt with over there in the cat. You know what I'm saying? Salute the Spanish brothers like Big Cisco, because that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? You know, that was family. You know, but there was a lot of things going on over there in the cat at that time, man. Salute, man. And make sure y'all subscribe to JAH-ACE TV.
Hey, JAH-ACE, JAH-ACE TV.
Oh, shoot.
And Mag Mama, y'all already know. Bless up. Bless up, JAH-ACE.
Peace and love, JAH-ACE. Big up Van der Veer, Flatbush.
And y'all check out JAH-ACE's podcast. He has a platform too, and he's really good. JAH-ACE TV. Y'all check that out.
Brooklyn, freaking out great. Chat enough. We need a little the boy don't chat tough when the key knock. Listen when I hear that. With a double action, a rap pump action. Shot the drive through face like a me back. So don't chat tough when the key knock. Listen when I hear that. With a double action, a rap pump action. Shot with drive through face like a me back. We ever depend the paper chase, but no in a haste. Warriors with no fi pace. I know everywhere me I go show me face. But please, don't make me have to show me brave. Money me a praise, so me a behave. So no make me have to beat it like one of the slave. Right now me feeling high, man. Thou shall not fuck with I, man. Boy don't chat tough when the key knock. Listen when I hear that. With a double action, a rap pump action. Shot the drive through face like a me back. So don't chat tough when the key knock. Listen when I hear that. With a double action, a rap pump action. Shot with drive through face like a me back. Me had the realist when them hear about. Brain flying like airport. Bertha bring storm, get a raincoat. Bullets are flying like birds when they stay cold. Bertha breeze cock, no deep throat. I just me, I feel reload. Clip long like the road, shoot you a spin being land out a seafood.